try that in the new year of like
a little buffer.
Just a little buffer, you know.
Yes.
We're back. Who are they?
Oh my God. Hello? Is this thing on?
Is it real?
I don't know. This is new. This is new territory. When's the last time we would tune it?
I feel like we did something in September.
Dang. What was it?
Yes, it was, because we were talking about how we were not raptured. And that was supposed to be happening in September. So
wow. Well, we're still here.
21st of September. Yeah. We are still here. We are not raptured, even still to this day.
My friend, after that, she had sent me a video on YouTube that was like a compilation of all these different people on TikTok. And some of those people have children, and they were scaring me. Because like this one man was saying he was getting rapture contractions. And
that sounds like a brain hack.
Yeah. Other people who like, she was like making a plan for who was going to come take her house. And I'm just like some of them were like, haha, you're kind of kooky. But some of them were like, I'm actually terrified that you are in charge of small human beings.
Yeah, the ones with kids involved really were pretty alarming.
Yeah. And they just, the way, especially the one guy, kept everything, even if it wasn't exactly the date or something, everything he could spin into, ooh, that's a sign. And I'm like, signs like psychosis. And I'm no mental health expert.
Yeah. Minimally confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Like, I was chopping up my vegetables and they fell in the shape of a 3, which signifies the Trinity.
They're like, no, these are all signs to me from God, because he is telling me the rapture is coming, even though we're not supposed to know. But he told me. He told me.
So. I just am like, if this is what God is spending his time doing, to quote that song, he's a bit of a freak.
Daddy!
Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. G-O-D? What a guy.
Well, we've got other topics, but while we're waiting for people to come in, I don't know if your FYP has this, but have you seen that lady who did the angel tree?
Yes. Who was like, you were never shot for a girl.
Yeah. The minimum is $30, so I'm gonna get her a $25 toy. So with tax, it's $30. And I was just
like, don't know how to shop. Like, she wants ethnicity. Like, what do I do about the doll? I was like, girl, it's not that hard. And then my FYP has been nothing but people bawling out for Angel Tree.
Exactly, which has been very affirming and enjoyable. Yes. I'm like, because it's so like, the whole thing about Angel Tree is A, the point is to spoil them, and B, like, if you don't have kids, it's so fun to shop.
Yeah.
For kids for Christmas. Like, it's a great time.
For one of her videos, or I think it might have been a second one, she posted and she was like, and if they don't have a lot, then they should just be grateful for anything. And I'm like, you suck. And the one, she has millions of followers. And so I love seeing this with people who have the followers and stuff who go do this. The cat. Oh my God. I was like, I spend so much time crying on TikTok for various reasons. Happy tears, sad tears, angry tears. But that, I was like, oh my, she was like, I got in contact with, we went to, and then she was like, do they have cat stuff? I don't know. Let's get it. And then a gift card.
And then she got presents for the cat.
Yes. And then one of her things, I think the list, she interpreted wrong or something, and somebody commented, oh, that thing actually is this. So she went back to Walmart and was like, let me correct that.
Well, and I saw somebody else call the little girl who got shorted by that terrible influencer. Mm-hmm. They called and went and got her whole list. So that little girl is taken care of, which made me happy. And I think the little boy too.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, thank God, because this was going to be awful.
Because one, because she kept saying her husband chose it. Whatever. Why would you choose Angel Tree if you were going to be cheap? That's not
Yeah.
the point. They're not forcing it upon you. And why would you film it?
Because they have brain rot and they don't know how to just do things without filming it. It's crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah. Angel Tree is so fun. I used to, when I was in high school, I would always volunteer at the Angel Tree wrapping station.
Mhm.
So you could either just pay to have, like, donate to have your gifts wrapped and then the money would go, or people would bring the gifts that they had gotten for their kids to wrap. And it was so fun. Like, Angel
Yeah.
Tree is so fun.
Yes. It's like, just like this comment, nobody is like, hey, you have to do Angel Tree. It's like, no, if you have the means and you want to help, you know.
Yeah. I've seen people on TikTok going on a date and they each have one and they like they show them going around and then like it's so cute. Like everybody, it's so fun. I feel like it really took effort on her part to suck the joy out of Angel Tree because it's just
literally every other video is fun. This is the one time I like people to flex on how much they're spending. This guy, he did a thing and he had spent like $1,000 on the thing, but again, he was like, it's just spoiled. I can do this. It was buying them. And it's like, okay, sure, they're not necessities, but do you not remember being a kid and being other kids get things and like it's just not the same thing, but it reminds me of this since the government was still shut down over Halloween and so many people were posting on threads that they were like, what if I give out like ramen, or what if I get people were like, let kids be kids. Like, sure, if you want to have food there, but let them have candy. They want candy too, not just like being a food bank at this time.
Well, and like I saw some people were have been like putting like shelf stable stuff out like kind of in their driveway as a part of their Halloween stuff, which is great. Like that's great. But part of it is like it's fun, you
want candy.
That's the and to be frank, probably mom wants candy too.
Yes,
mom and dad probably
take her tax
to take some tax out of the candy that the kids get.
Applesauce muffins, send me 3, thank you.
That sounds delicious. Well, we're gonna talk. Jess is gonna talk to us about her marathon and some Mormon memoirs she's read. We're not gonna talk about service bottom giving sloppy toppy to somebody.
They already have fix up on AO3. They work so fast. They work so fast.
I didn't know. I was getting chemo and having my uninterrupted TikTok time. That's my dissociation time.
Yes.
And that just came across and I had no preparation. I was very vulnerable when that just like hit my eyes.
I got it on threads first. People were saying something and I was like, who is Bubba? And then, but now do you see that people are like, okay, but there's also a horse that is named Bubba. I'm like, oh, please.
Listen, who knows? It's hard to say what the specifics are. I just think it's telling that was a joke. There was enough context for that joke to be made. And we'll just
what a raggedy, slightly hilarious, completely unhinged timeline we live in. Because how is this real life about the president of the United States?
When Nixon got drummed out of office, it was for some like real corruption shit. It was for some like some Tammany Hall realness, not God. It's what we deserve, or not all of us, but like our collective, probably what we deserve.
This season finale is crazy.
It is crazy.
The writers
looking forward to a spinoff at some point.
They're just throwing anything at the wall and they're like, actually, this is incredible.
So we might do all that to say, I'm wondering if people think that we might talk about that. I think we don't know enough yet. Like, I think that there's going to be more coming out. So maybe we can do some kind of like.
Because they just voted to actually release the files.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what are the files if these are the emails? Like, I'm assuming the files are going to have images that obviously we're not going to see. But I'm like, I just don't know what the files are going to have.
You
that
know,
that the public can see.
well, I'm guessing Lindsey Graham was voting yes because that sounds like his search history.
Maybe there'll be like flight logs that like specifically put people there.
I
Because I'm
think
just
this
like, if they can't release stuff to us, how do we? I want them to be released, but I just don't think this is going to be the takedown that people think it's going to be, because one, it took them this long to do that, and if they're the ones who review it, who's to say if they're like, oh well, there's nothing
yeah.
in there.
It's the unclassified stuff, so I think that's really what it is. But I mean, like, yeah, there's video and photos somewhere that
Mm-hmm.
some underpaid data
Ooh,
analyst had to look at.
ooh, Jesus!
Uh,
They gotta go. Like how they're like, how do I put this in the least crude words possible? What this is?
well, it's like when
Sitting
you
president and former.
former
Oh,
how
God.
big's the hug? I mean, that's
No, Lord.
um but so
I'm assuming
you
no,
no. Oh no, I did.
unless it's
Of
like
course not. What
a
country do you think this
Democrat,
is?
maybe, or a black person in there.
Oh, I
But
mean,
even
I would
then, if they have enough money,
yeah.
probably not.
I'm hoping it's like a scorched fire situation. That would be the best scenario where they all, you know, Schumer's
Yeah.
in there,
Oh God.
just all of
Yes.
them are in there. That would be
God.
awesome, but
Schumer.
no.
What a
No.
punk. The I'm waiting from the library, although I might just give up and just buy the audiobook of one of his victims who unfortunately took her life.
Oh
Um
man, I don't think I could get through
yeah,
that.
it's Nobody's Girl, this one.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't realize that she had taken her life.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So I was like,
That's
but yeah, I just don't think there will be justice. So
no. I
yeah.
mean, yeah. But anyway, I just thought I would address the Bubba in the room because that is something that we would cover, and I think maybe we will at some point. But I think
Yeah.
probably more info
There's
needs to come out.
there's more to come.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I barely got through. Her name is Chantal. She was the Jane
Uh
Doe.
my not say my name
Oh
from the guy, the swimmer dude.
yeah, yes. Say her
I
name.
know.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
That is one of the toughest memoirs I've ever read, and not to minimize or compare trauma, but like that's a single incident versus like,
Yeah.
yeah, know my name. That's her.
Okay, yes, yeah. Yeah, I remember you
I
talking
did
about that
remember
one.
her
I
name
was
was
like,
Chantal, so I obeyed her with that.
yeah, it's one that's on my list
Know my name
eventually.
is beautifully written. It's just a
Mhm.
very difficult read because of how reflective and well written it is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, okay, so let's hard pivot. Speaking, do you want to start with memoirs since we're talking
Oh
about
yeah, that's
this?
a great, because I was like, hold on, I'm gonna put a pin in what you just said about beautifully written, because I have to take a note of that when talking about these memoirs. Now, I'm not Mara, so I did not give you any visuals. I'm so sorry. No slideshows.
We don't have any
Um,
thank you slash.
no, but so I've recently read two memoirs by two Mormon women, both on reality TV shows, both
Mhm.
very different memoirs. Okay. The
You're
first
really
one,
becoming a connoisseur of the genre. Like,
I
you've read Heather Gay's? Who I mean,
mhm,
what you've read a few at
Sherry
this
Frankie.
Mhm.
I'm like, who else? I know. I'm like, who else is a Mormon and has a memoir? I feel like I must go on a quest
Yeah,
at this
you are,
point.
you can savor the differences and
Yes, and I have some stark differences,
okay.
especially between these two. So I'm going to start with, this is the person I'm going to be talking about. This is Macy Neely,
Okay.
and her memoir is called "Told You So." And we know who she is because she's on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. this recent
/TikTok
show on Hulu, but they blew up because they're like mom talk on TikTok.
Yeah.
The Utah moms.
Yeah.
This, I want to say that I am in no way trying to diminish her trauma that she has been through or her need to tell a story. However,
we're evaluating it as a book.
Yes. This didn't need to be written. This, she says in the beginning that it's like, you know, her going back through memories of like journal entries, text messages, whatever. But it reads like she is just reading from her journal and not in a good way.
Ooh, okay.
And she narrates the audiobook and that gives nothing. Like normally that, especially a memoir, is going to lend emotion. It was flat. And I guess that's how she talks, but I was like, the writing was already C-spot run, and then she added nothing with her voice.
Go on, girl, give us nothing.
She would be like, I didn't know I was rich. We grew up here. My dad was kind of cheap though. I went to parties. I played tennis. I was like, compound sentences, anybody? Like it was
it was Hemingway-esque.
Maybe that's what she was going for.
Yeah, it was a stylistic choice.
Yes, maybe. And so I won't the details. I'm gonna do a selfish plug here. If you want, I posted a video about it on my Patreon. Like it's like 25 minutes of me complaining about this memoir.
Yeah.
So you can watch it there. But the biggest problem I have, and this is my thing with memoirs, is I feel like if you write a memoir, you should have something to reflect on, not just telling your life. Because like, especially since it's usually somebody who's a public figure, and especially if you're on a reality show and I'm seeing it, what does that do for me if you're not reflecting on things and telling people how you've grown or how you do things differently? To me, that's like that doesn't. Yes. So when I was reviewing it, I thought about Sherry Frankie, who is younger, 22.
Yeah, 21? But I heard that was well done.
Yes. I don't know if I think she had a co-writer.
Yeah.
And it was excellent. It was beautifully written, but also she is young. I think it was great for her age, but it would be interesting to hear from her, 5-10 years if she leaves the church. This needed a co-writer or a ghostwriter so bad. And she's 30 now. I don't know when she started writing this. And this just reads like a 16-year-old writing in journals wrote a memoir. It's like, it was awful, actually. And that sounds so terrible because she did go through things. Her big thing was she got pregnant at 19. The baby daddy died in a car accident while she was pregnant. She was in a toxic relationship. Very traumatic. But one of her things was renaming her. She was in an abusive relationship, renaming her abuser to not call out his name. Fine. However, she gives him the name Dick. And we talk about this man so many times. I was like, if I have to hear the word dick again, it was like hundreds of times. It was a terrible. I was like, you couldn't just call him X or I don't know, anything else but Dick over and over. And Dick came over and I went to the party with Dick and I sat by Dick and Dick was mean to me. And I was just like, it just gave nothing. Did she
reflect on her, like the Mormon part at all?
I won't say she didn't because that would be unfair. So things she did reflect about was that at the time so obviously she grew up Mormon, but she grew up in California, in Orange County, in Coto de Caza. I was like, I know about that because I watched Real House of Orange County, but she was like, I didn't realize we were rich growing up. Okay, whatever. I knew I was poor growing up, but you can't realize you're rich growing up. So her parents were Mormon and active in the church, but they weren't as super strict because like they invested in like her tennis, like her being really good at tennis. And like they even put that above like you know, they're not supposed to do anything on Sunday, but if she had a tennis match, they were about that. And
Yeah.
she ended up going to BYU on a scholarship, even though she could have gone to UCLA, whatever. But, you know, she was looking for a Mormon husband. Crazy.
What? Yeah,
So,
that's a terrible decision.
yes. I'm like, as an athlete, like as a Mormon, I get it. But as an athlete, she does reflect back on, she was saying at the time of her getting pregnant that she was not, you know, she was anti, you know, or she was pro-life. And looking back, she realizes she, you know, she was in a privileged position with her family to help her.
Yeah.
And now she considers herself a feminist and is like pro-choice. And I was like, okay,
Okay.
I'm glad we had a glow up. She also, like, I feel like something, she doesn't really reflect much on the Mormonism. She talks about how when she reported her abuse to her bishop or whoever, that they basically blamed it on her and made her feel terrible. And then when she got
Oh,
pregnant,
I'm so shocked.
I know, I was like, what? They weren't compassionate? Oh no. When she was pregnant, how they went about strategically hiding her pregnancy, like her mom was picking out her outfits to hide her pregnancy and all these things, and how they had to go around it to, you know, hide it from BYU so that she could re-enroll, all these different things. But then as an adult, but she doesn't really like she states that these things and they're wrong. And I think it's a good, you get to look at the hypocrisies of BYU essentially,
Yeah.
and the Mormon church. But I didn't feel like she really was like looked back on that, because she's now still an active member. She still has her, what is it, some patriarchal blessing. So I'm like, that's another thing with these. I'm like, so you can look back and look at the harm that they did to you as a young person who experienced abuse that was not your fault, but now you're just like, yeah,
Sure.
Mormon church. And she just doesn't say a lot either way. It was very weird because most of the story is about like her abusive relationship and then the time of her getting pregnant. And a problem that I have with people who gain fame from something, specifically a show, are that they don't include a lot about that in the book. Like Heather Gay, we only know about her because of Real House Salt Lake City, and she puts like this much in there about it. I'm like, people know you from this show, and they're gonna come and like want like extra or like tea behind. And so it was a little smidge. Is patriarchal blessing, is that the right word for it? Like their
That's
blessing
what
to be in the right standing in the church?
So your temple recommend is what lets
Maybe
you go
that's
to
it.
the temple, but you do get a like they get
Okay.
patriarchal blessings, I think when they're teenagers. Like I think it's
Okay.
kind of maybe a similar type of ceremony as like a baptism or confirmation might be in a different
Gotcha.
denomination.
Okay. She still has her temple recommend then. So she's
Okay.
still in good standing
Well
with
then,
the
yeah.
church.
I mean,
So I'm like, oh, feminist, you say?
yeah, patriarchal blessing, and I'm not a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is just my outsider's understanding. It's
Never
basically
most.
like a personalized blessing slash prophecy type thing. So like if you've read the Bible when like Jacob steals the blessing from Esau from Isaac, and he like puts his hands on his head and is like, you shall go forth and make all these male babies to carry on my name, or whatever it is he says. That I think it's that kind of vibe, but like it's a dentist who's
Who's in the ward at your church?
I do think sometimes your actual family does it for you. I'm not sure how that goes, but yeah. So I'm going to actually say that of their ceremonies, it's one I find less objectionable, because I think it's mostly just meant to be like speaking good things into your future.
I bless thee.
Yeah. Of the ceremonies you could undergo, I imagine it's one of the better ones.
It's one of the more chill things they do for sure.
Yeah. You don't have to wear any weird little aprons or
so she doesn't like really comment on Mormonism really. I
find that very annoying. I think that's why I've not gotten into the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I just feel like they're using the Mormonism, but not actually like really getting into it. Like that I would be interested in, but it doesn't seem like they're really.
No. And obviously she does whatever to do enough to stay in good standing, but like That's why I watched the first season. I started the second season and I was just like over it because it's either it would be fascinating, if not even fascinating, while at the same time being like, I can't believe you're so deep into that religion if these were like actually like they were practicing Mormons and you're like watching this. But then it's mostly just, yeah, like half of them are not Mormon anymore and
Yeah.
just kind of like just like live in Utah and they're like Mormon adjacent,
No.
but they'll do things and then pretend like, oh my God, like they're so crazy for Mormons. And I'm like, it really just, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. And I watch a lot of trashy things. That is not me trying to be on a high horse,
Oh no,
but the religious
I love trash.
aspect to it is
Yeah.
like either be fully in or out and like looking back and they're
Yeah.
in this weird place in the middle.
I feel like they're using it to like lure you in, but they're not delivering what they're kind of
Yes.
selling with the branding.
That's how it is. And I'm just like, so really, at the end of the day, the Macy Neely memoir, I feel like I didn't leave with anything.
Yeah, it sounds
I
like
don't think
it was not worth the.
It doesn't. You don't honestly, because she's told her biggest things that have happened on the show and on TikTok. So this felt like it could have been a TikTok. Like it didn't. I mean, I guess she wants. It could be encouragement, I guess, if you're like, you're a teen mom, don't give up. I don't. But like another thing that annoys me is like she does not realize how just how fortunate she was. She does like say, I know that a lot of people who get pregnant at this age don't have the resources, but one, her family was wealthy. Even if her dad, I guess, was cheap and didn't want to run the AC sometimes, but they bought her a brand new Audi when she graduated high school. Her mom had a house in Utah and in California. Her sister was the coach of her tennis team, and then when she had her baby, her sister and her mom would take care of the baby so she could go to school and go to parties and play tennis. And I'm like,
yeah, I mean, I haven't watched all of this, but I feel like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City gets into a lot of this stuff more in a way that I would expect from that like Bronwyn's stuff with her experience as a young mother. Like she gets into it and explains like what the actual implications were for her in the church and like that would be what I would expect, you know, or like even if she talked about the fact that from what I understand, a lot of times what happens if young Mormon women are with child out of wedlock is that they're really pressured into putting the baby up for adoption.
Yeah.
And it's
she does mention that her parents said that
mill for richer Mormons from what I've heard. I don't know, but that's what I've inferred from stories people have told.
Yeah. She does mention her parents said that was an option, but she didn't want to do that. And so, yeah, I just think it's so no. And I just don't think everybody doesn't need to write a memoir. Yeah. And it's like, I know publishing is a business and they want to make money. And they're like, she's on this show and she's had some traumatic things happen to her. But you should have put a ghostwriter up in there. My Lord have mercy.
Well, yeah, that's
what you usually expect from influencers, reality shows, stars. Like, yeah, their name's on it, but you know they didn't write it.
If this is a money-making endeavor, like
put some money into
it. You got to spend money to make money.
Yeah, because like, I'm sorry, you as a 30-year-old reflecting back, I don't want to hear in a memoir that something was sus. I don't know. Maybe that's boomer of me, but I'm like, girl.
Well, or like, hey, did she have a daughter or a son? Or
she has her first child was a son. What was her second one? Another boy, or was it a daughter? I can't remember. She does have 2 kids, or she might be having on 3 now. I don't know from the show.
Yeah, she's 30 and had the baby in her late teens. That son is about to have to go into the Mormon bishop's office and like talk to him about his impure thoughts. Like, do you have any reflection on like what it means to be raising a child in the church?
Yeah, but she doesn't talk about that at all, except like it just briefly skips over, you know, some things and how she got with her current husband and how she always wanted a man who was going to go on a mission, but then he hadn't gone on a mission. Then he was going to go on a mission. She was like, no, we're dating. Why would you go on a mission? I'm like, which one is it, girl? And they got married. But yeah, there's not, that what you just said right there, that would have been something. Like, I
Yeah.
just am like, what again, I'm glad you had your journals, but this you just kept this in your journal.
Yeah, this could have stayed in the drafts.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. On the other hand, better written was Christine's
Yeah.
memoir.
Okay.
Or Christine Brown Woolley, Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom. Oh, we love alliteration.
Okay.
So whoever her, it doesn't say on here, so I'm assuming there was a ghostwriter. I'm just gonna assume. Sorry, Christine. But just definitely, and she's just like her same personality really comes through in her reading it. So that was also just a nice change.
Oh,
That it
that's
wasn't
nice.
just flat. It's like it's Christine. Like in the way she talks.
She's like very dramatic. Yeah.
Yes, it is very much. And so like I don't know how to explain this since we have talked about
I think,
Sister Wives so
yeah,
much. So I don't
we're gonna,
know.
I think we should assume people know what has happened up to this season of Sister Wives, because
Yeah.
otherwise we'll be here all night. There's so much to cover. We've had like 3 full episodes about this.
Yes. And they're on like season 19?
21?
Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which is funny. She even mentioned, she's like, I'm shocked this show is still. She like mentioned after like they left Cody that she was like, I thought that was it. And they're like, oh no, we're still filming.
It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm driving down to Flagstaff.
Yeah. So notable things that I wrote in my note about Christine, which
Okay, yeah. Spill the, because I had heard that there wasn't that much new stuff, but
yeah, which I don't think there is, since so much of their life has been on TV.
Yeah.
But I think the interesting part is at least there is reflection in hers and some of her thoughts about things. And now some of these you might have been like, yeah, I remember that. I have a terrible memory, so maybe I forgot. But Christine was one of Cody Brown's wives on Sister Wives. A quick brief. Yeah. If you ever watched that show, she left him, has been remarried, and she wrote a book. So, thriving. Yes, living her best. But so at first I was getting frustrated because she was like making it like she is like, am I in a cult? Like, no. And like, we're very different from like the Kingston fundamentalist kind of Mormons because like, you know, they do bad things and they marry young girls and we don't do that. They're United Brethren or apostolic United Brethren. Like, we're different. But spoiler alert, she does, since we were starting at towards the end, comes to revisit that. I was like, amen. But I didn't, so I knew like her family was in the church, well, like they were polygamous, but I didn't realize her grandpa had married 16 women.
Yeah. And she was like AUB royalty. That's part of why Cody wanted her.
That's why, yes. And I knew he had many, but I didn't realize that 16 and 48 kids, and then he was murdered. But yeah, so she just goes over that. I thought it was interesting because like I knew her mom had left, but her mom leaves around, I think she's like 18-ish. Her mom leaves the church, leaves her dad, and she says that she becomes more religious to spite her because she was mad at her for leaving. And that's around the same time she had met Cody and Mary. And I thought it was really interesting that she talks about, since Cody was already married, that they had moved to Wyoming, but they were still friends in contact. And so of course then he marries Chanel, but he was married, they couldn't date. He could court her, but they couldn't date. But then when he is getting to know Robin, they're dating.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Robin's different.
Very, very. But you know, she always wanted to be the third wife, but just, I know on the later seasons, especially when the relationship was breaking down, like we heard more how he said he was never attracted to her and stuff like that. But again, I don't know if this is my bad memory, but she said like, obviously they didn't have a big wedding ceremony because they just had a little living room thing, but that she was all excited and he just seemed so Like he didn't help plan any of the details. He didn't look excited the day of. The afterwards, she was like, "What are we doing for the honeymoon?" He didn't plan anything, and I'm just like, and then of course you parallel to Robin, and
Yeah.
he's like all helping her pick out her dress and planning parts of the wedding and plan them a honeymoon.
But I mean, can you imagine not planning a honeymoon? Like
Yeah.
I plan a day trip.
Yes.
You know what I mean? To like
She said they just got in the car and he's like, I don't know. Where do you want to go?
that is crazy to me.
And they just ended up staying in a motel. And then she did say that the first time was not great. It was painful, no foreplay. But she
Yeah.
comments on this many times throughout her. The sex was never good
Well, yeah.
with her and Cody. She said it got to a place where it was all right. But I was like,
no. Does he look like
Mara, they only want him for his body.
I know. I think him and Janelle had genuine chemistry, so maybe it was better. But honestly, I wonder if that was just on her part that she's just
maybe
not another polygamist. She is in a monogamous marriage, and I believe I don't know if she addresses this in the book. It sounds to me like she does not have any particular faith at this point.
Yeah,
like,
she just kind of says
sort of general spiritual.
Yes, like she's like, I have a relationship with God, and that's it.
That's kind
of one thing I know, they had garments, but I just cackled when she was describing them because they're longer than the traditional Mormon garments. She said theirs are like long johns, and I'm like,
that's the OG ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you seen? Did I see the TikTok? They've modified the women's garments, so now they can wear.
They've done it several times.
I'm like, wow, they just keep sending prophecies.
Yeah.
To Earth.
Yeah. No, the original ones are like 19th century long johns with some cuts in them. So
it just sounds like heat stroke waiting to happen.
I'm so glad she put that in there. Can I just say that he's a terrible lover? Like,
yeah,
you know that will eat away at him, and I'm sure it's true. Like, he doesn't have the look of a man who has ever pleased a woman without a lot.
Because she said like he never does foreplay, nothing. And then like I got to a place where she had to like basically give him a massage to get she was like, to get mediocre sex in return. And so she just got tired. I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. And they had made a rule that they weren't going to talk about their sex lives between the wives. And of course he told Robin, and then Robin came back and was like, why did you stop giving Cody massages? Ma'am.
That is
Danny.
That makes me so bad on her back.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. No, disgusting. But like, of course. And like, what I'm just sitting here thinking about that. That is so disgusting. Like, just, I don't know how is that enjoyable for him even?
I don't.
Like, why did you not just masturbate at that point? Like, isn't that part of the enjoyment of a group activity?
Yes. To do things together?
Yeah, that seems
it's supposed to be a sensory adventure.
Yeah, like I'm literally just thinking, even just aside from how awful that is and how I'm sure that was incredibly painful for her, especially when she was not experienced. That just also sounds like a terrible time for for him and
it sounds yeah.
So Robin, did Robin acknowledge that she shouldn't have known that about their sex life?
Because Christine says like, or mentions how upset she was that Robin just was like allowed, like he started talking about that and she didn't like stop and say no, like I don't want to know.
Yeah.
And she didn't. And because she told Robin, well, he's horrible. What did she say? I think I wrote this down. I think she called where did she say?
Did she tell Robin he was bad in bed?
Yes. And I'm trying to remember what he said back to him. But she basically said that, and he was like, oh, I don't know, she said he's an excellent lover, an excellent husband. But Robin, she basically tells him like he's not good in bed, and Robin seems surprised, like, what? So I don't know. Oh, that's what it says. She stopped because he didn't give back, and Robin said, "Oh, really? He's a great husband." I'm like, okay. Interesting. Another thing was, and I know they had mentioned this on the show, but I thought it was once they had children because they had so many kids so quickly. You know, they were living in not they poverty basically. But I'm like,
Yeah.
before they had any kids, well, Janelle was pregnant, but they had they had 4 adults, 3 of whom were working, and they were like, we were so poor, we didn't have any money.
How?
Oh, I mean, I expect you to be rich, and I know like wages were different, but y'all had 3 adults working. How did y'all not have no money? And then y'all piled all them kids up into that situation.
Yeah, that seems. I mean, when all the kids come, that math makes sense to me. But
Yeah.
like, if it's 4 adults,
Yeah. I was like, why are y'all so broke? I don't get it.
well, especially
But
because like, if you're making minimum wage, you're all living in the same place at that time.
yeah,
So it's not like you
in
have.
Wyoming, it couldn't have
It,
been
yeah,
that expensive. I
I
thought that
don't
was
know. That
I was like,
something there doesn't track because I know that they had to like file for bankruptcy a few times.
yeah.
And again,
I'm
once
like,
they have the
was
kids,
Cody
that makes
working?
yeah. That I
Because
wonder
he was like a
something.
traveling salesman. I'm like, was he really making any money?
Maybe he just wasn't making any actual money. But even then, there's 2 people working. But I
Yeah.
guess 4 people on 2 people's worth of minimum wage would still be a tough one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was like,
something about that math doesn't quite compute.
yeah, that's what I was like. Well, but I thought it also interesting that she was talking about in the early days that from her perspective, it did seem like Cody and Mary were very in love, even
Yeah,
if they could be very like they could get into arguments. She felt like um that was more once the extra wives were there, but that she always felt like since she knew them when they were first married, and even when they were married, and I was like, oh, that just makes me sad for Mary. But then
yeah. Well, you could
and
tell
so
even from the first season that they were.
yes, it was different. And
Yeah,
she said back to him being a terrible lover that she could
always.
to because they're in a small house, and so she would be like they weren't discussing what they were doing, but hear things and just even hear the affection and like different things with Cody had with other wives and not with her, because he will later admits in their book, I guess, that he saw her eating like a plate of nachos and
Yes,
lost interest in her, and then
yes.
tells her that he wasn't attracted to her, but she said that she was in love with him, and that he 4 years into their marriage tells her that he loves her finally. And
What
I
a
just but one of the things I thought was, and again, she reflects on this, I'm glad, because she's still mad with her mother for leaving the church,
mhm,
and she has Aspen, who is her firstborn. Aspen's the
yeah.
oldest, right?
No,
And
Logan is the oldest, but Aspen, I
oh,
think,
well, of
is right
hers, yeah.
behind that.
The so of course she was having the baby at home, and her mom had assisted a dozens of births, but she's like, I don't want her here. And she ended up with like a midwife who hadn't done any home deliveries, and her grandmother was there anyway. She ended up calling the mom who helped because she was like
Yeah.
struggling through labor, and then had gotten on the phone with her and was able to have her come over, and she was like, and I was finally able to sleep because like somebody I trusted was holding the baby, and I was like, oh, I'm glad. And like
Yeah.
she does later reflection on like, especially when she's leaving Cody, the comparisons to how she felt with her mom, and I was like,
See, that's what I want out of a book like this is like some
yes,
reflections, some connections.
yes. Look at these parallels. But again, I think that's something that comes with writing a book later, because what is Christine in her 50s?
I think so.
You know, and the other one, she was in her 30s. So I think
Well, but I mean,
age
like,
doesn't
again,
always
you're not
denote when you write a memoir, but like,
yeah, you do. I don't. I think that if you are an introspective person, you don't have to have that much life experience to have interesting introspection.
yeah.
But if you have more life experience, you just have more to draw from. So I think it's a
Mhm.
little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they all have access to a joint account? So they had a I don't so they mentioned the family account, but and I don't know, I know this was like more the present day. I don't know, I don't remember her clarifying for the older times, because it was usually that they had a joint account, but they went through Cody to get money.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming it was like that back in the thing. So who knows? Like, but Janelle also was involved in the finances, but I don't know when that started.
I
So
think
I
that
don't
started
know.
later because she went when she got her college degree. I remember Christine talking about watching Janelle's kids so that she could go to college.
Yeah.
And Janelle went to school, I think, for accounting. So I think at that point she took over the money. But I don't know that she but she never, I think this got clarified in recent seasons, that she never was like in charge of dispersing the money or making decisions about it. She was purely the accountant.
Yeah, I think Cody's always had if they had to, even when they had separate houses, they always had to go to Cody and be like, I need money for this. I need money for a thing.
And he would allocate theoretically based on equally between them, just based on the number of adults, not the number of kids. So like Mary only has one child, and I know she wanted more, but she only had one child, but she's getting the same amount of money as Christine or Janelle did, who each had 6 kids. So it was like a very unequitable situation for the children.
Just like that always makes me think when they were building the houses in Vegas, and I understand Mary, but also I'm like, girl, you have one child and you want this big old house and this wet bar and this blah, blah, blah. And these other people have 6 kids each.
That's how it's like, not, you know, I think that Janelle, Christine, and Mary all seem like they've done a lot of growth over the years, but like it is very, if you take one of the key things I took away from when I was watching that show was none of these people really are putting the kids first ever.
No,
this is every single one of them is pretty selfish.
Yes. And Alicia, he always wanted her to have something on, and I was like,
what's wrong with him?
So demented, because he said that he felt like he had to marry her because she was royalty. Like, but you weren't even in the same town. Like, why would you feel like you needed to marry her? I didn't. And then she does mention the different times that they had an idea about a 4th wife before Robin, and I didn't remember that, so I thought that was interesting. But it was funny because at one point they were like, the whole thing is supposed to be that person's supposed to like approach the head of the church. I don't know if they approached the head of the church and basically like express their intentions, but they did, and they were like, Cody, or told her grandpa, who was the head of the church, told Cody no, because he wasn't taking care of the wives he had, because Christine's mom had told him how broke they were.
Well, yeah.
And I'm like, good, because seriously, if you can't afford the wives you have, why are you trying to get another one?
Well, it also wasn't the one that they were pursuing underage or like barely of age. I remember there was like a 17 or 18-year-old at one point. Maybe that was before then. Maybe that was before,
because they had another one. And I don't know if that was that one or supposed to be a 4th one, because she does mention a couple who were supposed to be the 4th before Robin. But I'm like, maybe I'm drawing a blank. I didn't know that they had stopped celebrating Christmas for a while and were celebrating Hanukkah and doing like sitting Shabbat, and stopped celebrating Easter because he said it was too pagan.
Yeah,
they would do Passover.
That was like a whole thing in one of the more recent seasons about that. Yeah,
I'm like, what? I don't. Okay, whatever.
Well, but actually, when I was in fundamentalism, that was not uncommon. Like I did a couple of Passover dinners because there's like this fetishization of getting back to like pure Christianity before, you know, like
the modern corruptions, like closer
what
to the Old Testament.
What Jesus would have been doing. So yeah, that doesn't surprise that's pretty common in fundamentalism.
Yeah. Why is it always a soggy card? It's always, if they always look like that.
I'm so upset that I just am thinking about, like, if you have somebody who you have children with, who you have no, like, let's say you have no romantic feelings towards them, but like you have children together and you have any kind of friendly relationship with them, you're telling me you can't get it going? You're telling me you're that repulsed by them? I just find that to be a kind of like a failure of imagination at that point.
Yep.
Like,
I just and just to think about all of the years she was married to him, my God. The
God, that makes me so mad
she
for
also
her.
was
Like,
interesting
that's
talking
disgusting.
and made a note about how like most of them didn't wear makeup, right? Like
Yeah.
on the day-to-day, her Mary Janelle didn't wear makeup often, but of course like Robin came in and she was wearing a lot of makeup, and they had, I think, taken a picture or something. I don't know if it was for a gift for Cody or something, and he was like, why don't y'all have makeup on? Like once Robin's in the family, because now just
He
all of
wants
these
his eyebrows.
differences, and I'm like,
He wants those locked-in eyebrows on all of them.
oh my God. But yeah, once she's just the stuff, I mean, of course, she recounts a lot of stuff we've heard on the show about them, you know, the troubles with living together, how when Robin came in, he's actually dating her, taking time away.
Mm-hmm.
And when they first moved, I thought, and so she does touch on this. I feel like this is where I would critique her a lot, that I still don't know if she sees how harmful it was, like you said earlier, for her children.
Yeah.
Because even if at the end of the day you still love having Janelle as a sister wife, you're glad for the experiences your kids had to have with all of their siblings growing up. This is my problem, I think, with polygamy and like everything they did, moving to Vegas, moving to Flagstaff, was like it was not about the children. You were not thinking about them. You were thinking about you and how this was going to get you into the celestial kingdom, and not how it affects children.
Yeah.
Because even there, they had like some unaired documentary or something before they did the show. They knew, like we know, going on the show, they were going to go public and then having to leave. And I'm like, but they were like, see, they saw it as a civil rights issue, which I don't know how I feel about that statement. And I'm like, okay,
I
I
know how I feel about
understand.
that statement.
Consenting adults, whatever. But I'm like, but y'all didn't think about all of the children that you had who were in school, who had relationships there, who then had to flee their home because y'all decided you wanted to put their lives on national TV.
Yeah. I think that they can't or won't or whatever really confront how abusive that dynamic was for the kids, and
Yeah.
how those kids suffered because of choices that they made.
Yes.
And
because even the being in the situation before, even on the show, in this dynamic of how Mary was, because you know when they lived all in the house and she didn't want them coming through her house, or she would yell at them because she wanted certain things, and I'm like,
yeah,
yes, it may be helpful in your thoughts to have sister wives, but like you don't know everybody's personality and how they're going to work. But yeah, I just thought, while she, you know, does acknowledge it was difficult, I don't think, just like you said, that she didn't and probably won't confront that, because I'm like, that was abusive there. And then she does mention like we never like force the kids to be on the show, they could be on it if they want, and I'm like, but they were underage,
they can't
so like how do they know that that's, and now as adults obviously we see who doesn't want to be on the show, but I'm like, and so, I mean, some of them are very young. You can be like, hey, do you want to be on this show? They're probably like, ooh, cameras.
See our full episode about how no children should be on any media.
Yeah.
I mean, like
I was like,
they can't consent.
no.
And I mean, yeah, I don't want to get into too much of the garrison of it all, but it has been demonstrably destructive to these kids.
Yes.
In a variety of ways.
Yeah.
And I get that that probably is maybe very difficult to confront or be honest about, or maybe it's something she doesn't want to be discussed publicly. But
yeah,
that's just, I just don't see how you get around that if you're having some honest self-reflection there.
yeah, because I just, the Vegas move was so quick, and they uprooting their whole lives, and even the dynamic of once they were in Vegas before they got their houses, she lived down the street from Robin so she could see Robin's house, and that's when of course she was new to the family, and she and obviously her kids could always see his car at Robin's house. And when he started spending more time there than between the wives, and she said that Janelle, because of course Janelle's working at this time, they're all living separately, but she was saying that her kids, Janelle's kids, were like commenting on how they weren't seeing him that often, how he was spending all this time with Robin's kids. And I'm just like, it's just so. And then I got mad all again about Truly when she was her sickness, because I remembered it happened. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but she was out of town, right? And the older kids are watching her and they're like, oh, she's really sick. And she calls Cody to say, hey, can you go check on Truly? And he says he can't. He's busy with Robin. And it turns out that he was doing laundry at her house. He was so
Well,
busy he
Truly's
couldn't check on
kidneys are
Truly.
shutting down.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was like,
it's infuriating. And I mean, again, abusive child parenting here, because you've put your children in the position of having to be adults, making literally life and death calls for
yeah.
these little, like, it's one thing to ask your 13-year-old to look after your 9-year-old for an afternoon. It's a very different thing to ask your 16-year-old to watch your 3-year-old for a long weekend. Like, that's just not.
Yeah. Or even when, I think, was she working? I think Mary, her and Janelle were working, but they were like working different shifts or something. And she like asked Cody to like, put them to bed. And he was like, no, I don't have time to do that. So then
Making your
Aspen was
kids,
having to do that.
like
And
the
Logan.
parentification of it. I mean, it's just a mess. It's bad. So, but what I'm hearing from you is that she doesn't really confront that fully.
No, it's less like, obviously there's blame on Cody for his lack, but not like, hey, I take responsibility as a parent that these are ways I failed. So there's not, because she does, and I'm not saying she's a terrible mother. She doesn't love her kids. She just is like, but yeah, that lack of accountability there is disappointing. Not surprising, but disappointing.
I mean, because you could even say something like very gracious to your past self, which probably, I mean, she was in a cult. She was in an abusive relationship herself. So like, I get it, but you could just say something of like, knowing what I know now, I would not have chosen to, put my kids in those situations and make them go without, and, whatever you could, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because she does, I feel like she says a little bit more about the move to Flagstaff and was saying they didn't figure it out or know it was for Dayton until afterwards.
Oh,
and
did
she was like,
that?
Yeah. Because she was like, and little did we know basically that, Dayton, Robin's oldest, was going to whatever school that was. Because she does say something like, and what if, maybe I should have stayed in Vegas? Because she said he brings it up. I remember when he brought it up, but that the Raiders, so the Oakland Raiders were coming there, and he played it as, oh, it's going to become so much more dangerous. And she's like, I think a football team's going to make Vegas more dangerous, and saying they needed to go to Flagstaff. And she does like kind of ponder on, maybe I should have stayed up there, especially
100%.
with some of her older kids being there, and like, but she was
Her
still
and Janelle
like,
both, I fault for not.
Yes,
because they
but
saw
she
what it did to
still,
the kids the first time.
yeah, even at this point, she's still like, because they had that like recommitment ceremony or whatever in Vegas. And she says that when they were working on like their family mission statement or whatever, that she was like kind of in her head, like, I don't really know what the point of this is, or like, why am I even a part of this if I'm not staying? So she was saying she was having these thoughts on and off as far back as that. So I'm like, then why would you go? But then because she like, when it was good, I would be like, okay, I could do this for eternity, since, essentially they would supposed to be together for eternity. So but at that point, I just don't understand, if you had already seen the neglect, that the preference that he gave Robin, all of that, why you would still follow him down to Flagstaff and do all of that. A couple random things that I just didn't like was that she, which is fine, she talks about like going on a diet to like feel better in her body, but I just didn't like some of the way she talked about it, because she was like, go on a walk and earn yourself 100 calories. I was like, ooh.
Well, also, I think it's particularly gross in the context of her being an MLM shill, right? Like,
yeah, which is so funny when she talks about that. She just calls it like, I started a business. And I'm like, like me and Mary did a clothing business. I'm like, yeah, a business.
Mhm.
She said, what else did she say about that? She was like, look for low calorie foods. Allow yourself a treat like dark chocolate. Ma'am, save it. If that works for you, whatever. But I just listening to it like, you know,
You
I don't want
know, that generation,
that. Hmm.
you know, we're still in diet culture, but that
Yeah,
generation I don't think has ever gotten that challenge for them, at
no,
least our generation.
no.
We can at
Which
least name it.
yes. Which you know what's funny? Danny said what MLM, and they were in LuLaRoe, but I thought LuLaRoe went bankrupt.
I think that I don't think I think it's still a thing. It might be an under different
Oh,
ownership or something, but and
but
then
it's
they
LuLaRoe with
also
those ugly clothes.
yeah, yeah, rags. Um I got a pair. My very sweet sister, when they first came out and they were big and popular, she got me a pair for Christmas, and they were very soft, but they got holes in them immediately. Like I think I got to wear them like 3 times.
Jeez. Oh, and they do that other one with that pink drink or something, like a health one.
Yeah, I don't know what that other one is called, but her and Janelle do it, and I think also maybe Janelle's daughter.
Maddie,
Yeah, I
I
think Maddie
think.
does it with them
Yeah.
too.
Yes. She did love bodice ripper romances. However, I
I
did
love
not like that she repeatedly kept saying trashy. And she just kept reiterating, I love a trashy Scottish romance novels. I love, and my kids would keep finding trashy. I was like, all right, girl.
I like trash too.
Yeah. We don't have to
Have
keep
you
saying
ever read a barbarian romance? How trashy are we really talking?
because she just said Scottish romance novels, and then her
Oh,
kids.
I
That
think this is
sounds
what it's called.
familiar.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That sounds that sounds familiar. There also was this other, and this is not to. Oh wait, quickly back to Truly's illness, which just made me upset because of America. That when that happened, they were between insurance, so she was there for multiple days. Of course, they keep asking about money, and she said she ended up owing like $200,000.
Yeah. Didn't she have to do like a GoFundMe to get that resolved?
Yeah, like she had a lot of money to pay
Yeah.
off, and I was like, and then of course, she goes. We go back through Isabel's surgery.
I will never not be mad about that.
She doesn't need it. Why can't she wait? You're just doing it now, so I can't go.
She's trying to punish me.
I have little kids at home. I can't leave.
That man, I just hate him
You
so
would
much.
think he had a newborn. This is also your child.
I think that's why I can't really watch the show anymore because I really did tip over from like he's the villain and I like to hate watching him. I just straight up hate him.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
I just hate him. I don't want to see him and his little chiclet teeth and his bad filler. Like I just
His ramen noodle hair,
he's
and then
not, yeah.
Robin. It's so
I'm so
funny
mean.
because
I
she
would never say like I hear myself say that and I'm like that's so mean. I don't like to say it, but it's just like it just
well,
makes me mad. Like just
he's
looking at his
ugly
stupid
inside and
face
out.
makes me mad.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that she noted that Robin was always very emotional. She cried a lot. And I'm like, oh,
Well, and she
yeah.
gets mad when you say that,
Yeah. Like,
which I
what?
find very bizarre.
No, I'm not me. I'm not emotional. But also she had hurt her knee, and I think it's before Maddie's wedding, and she said that she was given oxy
Mm.
and that she called it an addiction. That she became dependent on them. She would take them before filming. She liked the high that it gave her. But then Maddie came over and were like, "You're a mess and you have to get it together," and that snapped her out of it. And then she like broke the pills in half and gave them to Aspen to only give her half a dose because she would be embarrassed to ask for another dose. However, and then she reduced her dosage and never had a high or low again. But that was like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I don't want to downplay anything, but I'm like, I don't know if we should call that addiction.
I don't think that's an addiction. I think that she got into she was on a slippery slope that she
Yes,
did not fall
got
down.
pulled back. She
Yeah.
got pulled off the ledge, and I'm like, which is good, but I'm like calling it addiction because she's like, I was addicted. I'm like, no, I whatever,
I gotta say, I am very thankful. The only time I've had to take drugs like that for after surgery stuff, it makes me so nauseous that I cannot imagine ever taking it for fun.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for that.
I've always, I don't think I ever had Oxy, at least not the pill. I think I've had, is it oxycodone the liquid form?
I don't
Um,
remember.
but I think like when I hurt my knee, I had Loratab, and that was the first time I was like, "Ooh, this is nice." But they didn't refill me,
Yeah,
so I was
I've
like, "Dang."
I've had Xanax before for yeah, I won't even get into it. And that was great. I was like, is
I
this
have
just
a regular,
like?
I have a regular script of Xanax, especially I take it for flights.
Yeah. That I'm like, is this just how people are walking? Is this what it's like to just have no anxiety? Like, is this what life is
Yes.
like? And then when I was in the hospital once, I cannot take morphine because I have a violent reaction to it, which I found out later is hereditary.
Dang.
Other people in my family have this, but then they gave me laudanum like I was a Victorian
Were you just wasting
tuberculosis patient.
away?
And I was like, this is so bizarre because I still am in a crazy amount of pain, but I don't care.
You're like,
I'm just like, okay.
yeah. I was like, dang, this Loratab feels. I felt so nice, but I couldn't get a refill, and it never crossed my mind to be like, let me see how I can finagle more. I was like, dang, that was it.
They kept trying to, after my surgery, they kept trying to refill my whatever it was they gave me, but I was like, girl, I'm good. I get so nauseous from this. I'd rather just take some
Yeah.
Tylenol.
Whatever I had after my wisdom teeth, was it
I had it
Vicodin
after
or
my
something?
wisdom. Yeah.
And it made me nauseous. I was like, oh,
Yeah. I had
I
Oxy
hate
after my
this.
wisdom teeth, and I only took it for like 2 days.
The pain is still there, but you're not.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're
And
like,
yes, I think they only have it really at the hospital because they have to give it to you through an IV.
they're like,
But
bring out the old reinforcements.
yeah, a man in a ironic vintage mustache, with an ironic vintage
We
mustache
see you can't take the morphine,
and
dear.
a waistcoat and like steampunk glasses came out to administer
He
it to
takes
me.
his monocle off. He's like,
Yes. Just with his
I
old-timey needles, those like really big ones with like a gigantic thing. And I was like, okay, I guess at this point I'll try anything.
pump it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, girl, I'm glad you got off that addiction, but that's not an addiction.
Yeah. I'm
But
glad you didn't develop a bad habit, I think
yeah,
is really my takeaway from
yeah.
that.
So overall, and again towards the end of her, because she goes over leaving and finding or like David, and moving back to Utah and thinking that this was going to be the end of the show because she left, and then Janelle basically was like bye, then Mary was like bye, and they were like, oh no, we're still filming, and how annoying it was to drive back and forth to Flagstaff.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, and how of course he didn't have a place for Truly like for a
No.
while, but was like, I didn't say you can move back to Salt Lake.
I don't think I asked you.
And who are you?
I don't think your name I don't well, did you talk about getting child support? Okay,
That was
because
not in
that's what
there.
I'm
So I
rooting
don't know
for.
if that's still ongoing, but she did not mention that. She did talk about, like Coyote Pass and those parcels and trying to get that back and selling her house and stuff. But yeah, nothing about child support, and something about David. And then I liked her reflecting back of now being at this age and leaving Cody, leaving that church, because she had stopped wearing garments a while ago and was distancing herself from the church because I think some things came out about some of their church leaders and like
Yeah.
abuse charges, and so that made her put like some distance. And she also, like, her kids as they were getting older were also telling her like they didn't feel like they could really relate to their peers. I think this is in Vegas, because they're like, these girls are just talking about getting married, like they don't want to go to college. And so I think she said, like, Gwen said, like, I think that's, was not feeling like, these people a little strange. I don't know if I can relate to them. So like then at that point, as she was distancing herself, she like realized, she's like, wow, I did like grow up in a cult, like, and I thought, that's what I knew, and I thought that was right, and I was like, oh, some acknowledgement. And
Yes.
then her looking back at like thinking that her mom was selfish when she left, but now realizing, that what happened and what happens when you grow older and life changes and you don't believe in a faith anymore, like that she
Mhm.
wasn't terrible to do that. And it's like, see, now I like that. That was
Yeah.
great looking back. And yes, I mean, she covers a lot of stuff that's on the show, but I think those are some of the things that stood out to me. And um that Cody and Robin sound just as terrible as we think they
So,
they are.
yeah. Does she did she have very many, like, unique, like, things you hadn't heard before about them, or just more like she
It
just
was
talked
just more it was really with Cody, it was those kind of like more intimate things.
yeah,
And
that is beyond, like,
and that
you
part about Robin and him telling Robin about the sex life. Robin less, but it was just, from her perspective, and again, she's very emotive.
yeah,
So it made you just she's like recounting, you're comparing how little he was involved and excited about their wedding to comparisons about Robin. Because obviously she came in after Mary and Janelle, so
yeah,
she didn't see that lead up, but she came in as third wife, her experience, and then looking to the fourth wife and how she really did want to be friends with Robin and like welcome her in. um and how that all turned out was really like we had seen it on the show, but I think it was a little emotional listening to her tell
yeah,
it, and just thinking about not even just her, just thinking about the kids, like them being able to see and know that their dad is like these, not like he should have treated those kids terribly or anything, but you've got these new kids that just came in and you're prioritizing all of your time with them
mhm.
instead of us.
I just yeah, it always just comes back to the kids, really, of the
Yeah.
people who really lost out here were them.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad it seems like most of them are getting on with their life in a productive way, which honestly, I'm kind of surprised by.
Yeah.
Um,
You would think with so many children there would be more mess maybe. And she does mention Garrison,
yeah,
um, which is really sad. And but she doesn't talk about like whatever allegedly happened at the funeral. That kind of she just denotes that like McKelty doesn't have a relationship with them anymore, but she doesn't
yeah.
explain,
I haven't
anything
watched
further.
I haven't watched anything, but I have seen a couple of TikToks with, like, clips from McKelty where it's pretty
Hmm.
clear that, like, she gets it now.
Yeah.
She gets that Robin was using her, and yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it still
I see
drives me
those.
crazy, but I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm glad you at least understand this."
Her and Tony seem to be a match made for each other. My lord,
Yeah.
they annoy me because
They're
it's
not
like,
my cup of tea, how about that?
no, I like Aspen.
Yeah, I like Aspen, I like Gwen.
Yeah.
Um,
And and she talks about that, like, having Leon come out to them and like how she thought she was this like open-minded person, and then every time something else, and having Gwen come out that she was like, learning more and being like, oh, I'm not as well versed or open-minded as I thought, but like wanting to learn more. So I'm like, oh,
that's all yeah, that's what you hope for, you know?
yes, because
And
I
proves that
remember
you actually
watching
love
that.
those kids.
Yeah, I remember watching that episode when Leon came out. I was like, what are y'all gonna say? What are
Like,
y'all what are you gonna say?
don't be mean to Leon.
So it was like those things. So like it's not explosive, or like she's not telling us the nitty-gritty of how much money was in their bank account or things, but there was, I think, I
There's
mean,
meat.
in it, yeah. And I appreciate the reflection, especially the harmfulness of the church that she grew up in.
Yeah.
And growing and letting her kids be who they are. And I'm just glad she freed a man. Oh God.
Hallelujah, 'cause
And now, and again, I haven't watched it. I don't remember the last time we did an episode, but I don't. I haven't watched this season. I don't think I watched last season either, or I stopped. I don't think I finished it.
I
Because it just kept being like these episodes are like an hour long, and half of it is like Cody and Robin.
don't want to see them on my TV anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to like. I just don't understand. It's just like, girl,
they have nothing going on.
Even though she was too nice in saying Robin designed, because she was talking about them trying to have businesses and Robin designing nice jewelry.
Is the nice jewelry in the room with
I
us?
was like, okay. Excuse me.
Sure.
Right.
Gosh. Well,
but
I think that one was at least. It sounds like that one was worth your time.
Yes,
so
especially coming off the tails of that one. Maybe that just made it all the much better, because I was like, Jesus Christ, that first one was horrendous. But shout out to the ghostwriter for Christine.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like, part of it to me almost feels like, do you leave the book feeling like it was a scam or not?
Like, yes.
It's like, okay, put some effort into this to make it good.
I need a dab of something. And I'm glad, I mean, I got one from the library and one was a Libro audio copy. And I'm like, good. I would be mad if I had waited from the library for that first one. So luckily it was through the Libro thing, but yeah, that one of the Mormon ones, of course, since so much of her life has been on the show, of course, we hear about the show and filming and stuff.
See, I would be into that. I love hearing about production stuff.
Yeah.
Like I
she was talking about
take a 2-hour special of them talking about like the logistics of how they decide what they're going to film and like where they film and whatever deal they have with salsaritas and
because she does talk about like how at first it was set up around like a trip and then stuff that led up to that and how they had like their set in the basement of a dentist office and different stuff like that, but it was walkable so they could get back to the kids. So yeah, there are some mentions of that because that's stuff like is happening, but we don't ever know exactly how it's working. And like their talking heads,
how I want to know.
They didn't want the kids initially to do it, but they're like, if they're gonna do it, we don't ever want them to be on the couch alone, so they're at least with each other.
That's a good.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't think they should be on the show, but whatever.
At least harm reduction, I guess. I'll take it.
Well, a little bit, we'll take that little bit, and like, because think of that. Truly has grown. Her entire life has been on camera. Birth, hospital emergencies,
those little ones that Robin has too. I mean, I don't necessarily love those ones, but that's not their fault.
Yeah, entire life. That's crazy. Have you seen those clips recently of like? Oh, I think so. Because I think we were wondering, what's her name? What's the older daughter name? Ariana.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, you said that
to the boyfriend.
Me. Yeah, that
I can't remember her. Brianna. What is her name?
There's a Brianna and an Ariana. No, that's a little one.
Okay, there's a Ariella is the little one. Is Solomon. But I can't think of the older two girls' names.
Brianna, and then I forget but it's a different one that you're talking about, and I can't remember her name. There's something. I think she maybe has some developmental issues. Or she's just very awkward on TV.
Parented, so I'm like, I'm glad I'm not watching this because watching the TikTok made me uncomfortable. Yeah. I have a but I don't know.
I mean, and Cody still makes it about himself, of course. God, I just hate that
the attention is not on him. What is the point?
I don't like him. I don't want to see him anymore.
No.
Like, get off of my screens.
Because all it's going to be is Robin complaining and her eyebrows shouting at me. And then she's going to try to win some favor by saying, like, you need to work on the relationship with your children. And he'll be like, well, the phone works both ways. And then I'm going to get mad. So I'm just not going to watch it.
Yeah, I just don't. They don't have anything that interesting that they show about their own lives.
No, it's their tackily designed home. and they're not authentic, and just them is dull. And then we pop around to the other people having a good time. I'm like, go over there.
I would love an entire
Life after Sister Wives.
yeah, slash like I'd love to see the flower farm. That sounds like it'd be interesting.
Yes.
I don't know.
Even Mary and her friends shenanigans at their little bed B&B.
Definitely better than whatever.
Cooking with Christine. I
Yeah.
mean, really, we have options if we want to stay in this Sister Wives universe. But Cody and Thing,
No. I don't want to see them anymore. I just can't.
no.
I just can't. And Robin, I don't like, but I don't hate her. But I just hate him. I truly just hate him.
It's valid. And I just think, because Christine mentions like Robin never truly had the sister wife experience, especially they had, because she came in, she lived separately, then they moved to Vegas, so she never lived with all of them. And obviously they tried their late as fuck idea to do this massive house in Flagstaff,
which would have
but
been bizarre and unsellable.
It's just so crazy. But I'm like, because what was her tagline? Like, I wanted the family, not the man. And girl, now you got the man. And sometimes I wonder if she really was like, because there's no doubt that she got preferential treatment and she got him a lot more than the other people. But I think that with the other ones, there's still, up until COVID, was some time that she got free when he would go to the other wives. And then COVID happened and she was like, I'm staying here. And now she's like, oh.
I don't think she's happy. It would
This
not
is what it's like
to hear that they split up, because who wants him?
She's like full time. And then I saw, I don't know if I sent this one to you, but a clip about him saying some women have reached out to him talking about they want to be another wife.
Oh,
and he's like, I mean, and she's like, of course, you know, he's a good looking man. He's financially stable. He's a great dad. Of course they would reach out to him.
Again, okay, is a financially stable, good-looking man in the room? Like,
okay, girl.
God, I just hate it. I hate him. I hate him. I hate that. I am mad that I have more people in my life I hate as I grow older. But
yeah,
because I think I used to be better at not doing that. But
it's hard when they're terrible.
Yeah.
It was like, what else are you supposed to do?
I mean, like, have empathy and compassion. Like, yeah.
No. I think it's so, I don't want to say funny, but when she's recounting it, of how excited or like how close Mary got to Robin so quickly and like wanted her in the family, but then once she was there and was taking up all the time, and it was like, but she still went through with that divorce, Lord, and that was the beginning of the end. Yeah. That was a long end that started with divorcing. Unrelated but related, because I put on some trash to watch while I was making food today called Seeking Sister Wife, because TLC can never get enough.
Yeah.
There's this couple, because this is not the first season, this white couple who keep going to Portugal, not to Portugal, to Brazil.
Yes.
To find a wife.
I've heard about that.
Have they learned Portuguese? No.
It's not.
So now they've brought back a wife. Still don't know Portuguese. She's gotten divorced from her husband so he can marry her. And I'm like, girl. They have 3 kids. He has a business with her brother. They're taking care of her parents. They have this huge house. I'm like, you're going to get a legal divorce. And as far as we know, she didn't like ask for anything specific in this divorce. So now you're just depending on this man's goodwill.
Some people are too dumb to not get in their own way. I guess I'll just
And like, also, y'all are weird to keep going to a country you're not even gonna learn the language, and they're back and they're just like, it's so weird. They're like kind of using Google Translate and then also like just pointing at things and making really high-pitched noises. It's really strange. And I'm just like, and so he has, because she's like, he's a king in his home. So he has the master bedroom, and then they share a sister room and alternate going to his room.
She doesn't even have her own room.
No. I mean, I guess technically every night only one of them are going to be in there, but there's 2 beds in there. They're sharing a room, and he has a master.
That's
I'm like, stand up.
not for me.
God, y'all are embarrassing me.
I mean, like, I'm the kind of, yeah. I'm just not even gonna go there. I don't have anything to say. My mom said if I don't have anything to say, just shouldn't say anything at all. Well, hey, I probably gotta go feed the cats. So we'll punt marathoning, I think, to a different time. Other than just to say we're also proud of you for pushing your body beyond what it should be able to do.
Yeah. It didn't feel like it was gonna happen. Yes, I will continue my search for Mormon memoirs. Although I was thinking, because Robin was sending me TikToks of all the different housewives that have apparently written memoirs, and I was like, should I read these? I bet there'd be a range of terribleness in here.
I've read a few in my time, and they're never good. Like, some of them are entertaining, but they're never good.
Yeah. I'm like, oh gosh, but I'm sure there's more memoirs out there. Memoirs.
Okay, here's my challenge to you. If you're gonna do Housewives, you must watch Roni, because
the original.
Well, I mean, I can send you the seasons you need to watch, because it's some of the best television ever put on the air.
Wow.
And some of the memoir, like, you need to read the Class with the Countess, but like, you can't until you understand how absurd this woman is.
It's so funny because I never. Which one came first? Was Roni first or OC?
It went OC,
because that's what I was watching. I was watching OC.
Yeah. I think it went OC, Roni, Atlanta. I think those were like
watched
the 3 original ones. Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, whenever people say that reality TV is acting, I think of Roni, because I'm like, Meryl Streep on her best day could not give this kind of performance. This is just them. Like, they.
I mean, I've heard the legends.
There's,
of that one and Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills also fantastic in its day.
I started, or I don't think I started at the beginning. I think I started at a certain. I don't remember.
I mean,
but that's
in
also
the first season, you have an alcoholism scandal, and then in the second season, somebody's husband himself, and he was abusing her.
Oh my god!
So like the whole season's, it's dark, but the whole season
in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, the whole season's plot line is like how they can help her with escaping her DV situation.
Dang.
Dang. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Potomac. There's just so many housewives these days. Yeah. Salt Lake City's the best one currently airing.
Yeah. I need to get caught up on that at some point, but
I am watching Potomac also.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I gotta boogie because somebody's already thrown up. I heard them in the background. Hopefully you guys did not hear that. But they do when they're mad I've not fed them. So.
They're rebelling. Feed the kitties. We don't want them to eat you.
Yeah. But thank you for this Mormon rundown.
You're so welcome. I hope that people heed my warning and don't listen to Macy's book. I mean, you do what you want.
You suffer so they don't have to.
I try.
Basically, yes, in essence, it's like an act of protest for them.
Wild.
Well, hey, we have things we can talk about. It just is a matter of
finding the spoons and lining up the time.
Yeah. But maybe we can try to squeak in another one before, at least one more before the end of the year. We've got Zizians, we've got marathons, we've got caves. I've been very into FNAF lore recently. Am I a gamer? No, but I fell asleep.
I don't know what that is.
Tell me. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah. I'm not a gamer. I don't play the game, but I am deep in on the lore now because it came on while I was falling asleep one night, and here we go.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna talk about it all eventually.
Yeah, we've got
Caves. Yeah, it's one day.
Bubba when we know more. So, but until then, go check out Jess's Patreon to hear her talk in detail about Macy.
Yes.
And we'll just catch y'all on the flippity flop.